Today was so rough, man. I gotta chill. So, let's see. Of course the internet is full of shit. There's just nothing. Wait. PvZ3? I gotta watch some gameplay right now. How bad could it be? What is that? These sons of bitch! Long story short, Plants vs Zombies 3 sucks. So I made my own. If you didn't know, PvZ3 was a pretty failed attempt by EA to squeeze even more money out of players. It also introduced plant fusions, where you combine two plants into a stronger one. The funny thing is, fan games like PvZ Fusion already did that years ago. So for my game, I'm gonna steal from EA, who stole from Fusion, to make my own game. First of all, we need our first plant, and for that, the sunflower fits the best. So I jumped into Blender, because the 3 in PvZ3 stands for 3D, and took some inspiration. I then started making a test model. It looked pretty bad, but with the picture behind it, okay, still bad. I finished the head, then the body, and some idle animations. And voila, this beauty. I placed her into the game, which definitely worked on the first try and totally didn't take hours. And because I couldn't solve that, I remade it completely in 2D. But let's get back to Godot. As everybody knows, the sunflower produces sun, which is basically money. So I made this nice animation and let her drop some sun for you to pick up. Now that we have a plant, we need a zombie. I already tried making one in 3D. Yeah, glad I switched to 2D. So I remade him too. Nevertheless, the zombie is now in Godot and can finally walk. There's just one problem. There's nothing protecting the sunflower. Wait, what? And what fits better than the pea shooter? And look, he's so cute and totally different from the original. With this sweet animation, he looks even cuter. And now imagine him with friends. And now imagine I made all of this for nothing because, yep, I switched to 2D, remember? Haha!
Bro,
huh?
Stop yapping, I need some help!
Oh, right. Nice. With the basics done, I made these seed packets, which you can use to place plants on these 4 lanes. Why only 4? Why not? And this looks fire, not gonna lie. It's really starting to feel like PvZ. Maybe because I basically stole the art. Maybe you noticed there are no lawnmowers. And that's right. There's only one true lawnmower. But why isn't it on the lawn and instead looks like a button you can use to shred your plants into little pieces and mix them together? You ask? Because that's exactly what it's for. So let's see what happens if you mix the sunflower and the pea shooter. It's the sun shooter. Yeah, it kinda looks like it wants to suck dick. This plant can produce its own sun, but it can also use sun to shoot zombies. So you only get 15 sun out of every 25, but each shot deals 15 damage. If you're good at math, you'll notice that doesn't really add up. That's because zombies hate the sun as much as I do. After that, I polished the game a bit so it was ready for zombie waves. The system I wanted was actually pretty simple. Zombies can spawn in any of the 4 lanes. Over time, the number of zombies slowly increases. Your goal is simply to survive as long as possible. To make things a bit more interesting and less generic, I also added the conehead zombie, which has more health, and the buckethead zombie, who has even more health. The way the system works is by using a zombie budget. A normal zombie costs 1, a conehead costs 3, and a buckethead costs 6. The budget keeps increasing over time, while weaker zombies become less common and bucketheads get a higher chance of spawning. But let's try this in game. I really think this is gonna work on the first try.
What the hell? Why are there so many? No, my pea shooter! Ah!
With this system in place, the game became a real game and was also kinda fun. That's a new achievement for my games. But having only 2 plants and 1 fusion doesn't bring you far. It was indeed so bad that the zombie started hitting some kind of dance on me. So to fix that, I added a spike weed. The spike weed works just like in the base game. Zombies take damage by stepping on it, but can't eat them. Thus, they are great to use in the front line, because it's usually the place where you don't plant other plants. But the spike weed brings also great mixes. When you combine it with a sunflower, the sunflower gets spiky. This is the spike flower. She has 400 HP and when a zombie starts attacking her, she'll reflect some damage. You can also mix the spike weed with the pea shooter, creating a stronger plant called the spike shooter. This plant has also 400 HP and shoots spike peas, which deal double the damage. Just with this new implementation, I was able to play further for several minutes. But not for long enough. Not because my setup was weak, no. In fact, spikeweed is a bit too OP, but because zombies started phasing through my plants. I then fixed some issues like this one and even tried to make a nice background. Which didn't work because I'm not an artist. So I added the last plant for today, the walnut. The walnut is a defensive plant used to stall zombies. For the mixes I could just give every plant more HP, but this seemed boring. So instead of a tougher and bulkier pea shooter, we now have the nut shooter. It shoots little nuts which can hit 2 zombies. This can be used to kill weaker zombies behind a tougher one so they don't get too far hiding behind the stronger one. The spike weed may or may not be a bit too strong in its base form because it can't be killed, meaning it's... That's why I changed it to die after dealing some good amount of damage. But this can be fixed by mixing it with the walnut, creating the nutty weed.
Why did you name me like that?
Because I'm crazy! For the sunflower, there's just nothing crazy to do, so it gets the boring HP buff and the cool name Nutty Flower. Now the game is basically finished. There's just one problem. There's still no background. I opened my drawing software and confidently placed my first brush stroke. It looked horrible. The grass looked like green spaghetti and the trees looked like broccoli. But after hours, no, days of trying, I've done it. Okay, it still looks ass, but me don't care because me finish game. Yeah, that's it. It turned out way better than I thought. If you like this kind of video, please leave a like and comment which game I should try next to remake. But until then, bye bye!